Hello and welcome along to the SUTV preview show. It's Brighton up next in the fourth round of the FA Cup for the Blades this weekend. But before we look ahead to that fixture, let's recap the Premier League tie against West Ham from last Sunday at Bramall Lane. A 2-2 draw for the Blades. Carlos Saba was there for SUTV. I'm delighted to say hello and welcome back to the preview show, Carl. But first, let's reflect on that performance because it was impressive.
Yeah, I thought the first half was the best first half, 45 minutes we played this season. There was so many pluses. That you had Diaz making his home debut, and he played like he'd been with the team all season. His link-up play with Andre Brooks was outstanding. He was playing blind balls round the corner, knowing where people would be, and that's just testament to the hard work they would have put in the training field, because you can only get that understanding from putting in the hours on pattern of play and understanding what the manager wants from you. And I thought there were so many pluses the first half. I was just disappointed that we went in level. But if you play like that, you had Willisula running them ragged up top, Andre Brooks. My gosh, it's just outstanding. You go around, I can't really pick out any one person. I thought the whole team were outstanding.
Just immediately from what you've said there, the first thing that springs to mind is a blend of youth and experience. Chris Wilder said before the game last week in his weekly news conference that he felt that they had taken a chance on some of the younger talent, but you don't find out unless you put them in there. And it seems to be, especially when you look at that performance last week, at this point, it seems to be bearing dividends.
Oh, for definite. And we'll touch on the actual result in a bit, but if the boys didn't come away with anything in that match, it would have been bitterly disappointing. Everyone in the ground who watched the majority of the match would have been, know how well we've progressed and how well we're looking. But the bigger picture, people would have looked and thought, oh, Sheffield, you have lost. And then you have all the pressure. We're turned a corner. We're playing much better. I felt West Ham were lucky to come away with a point on the full picture. It was a marked display where the youngsters, they're not just coming in with an enthusiasm, they're coming in with real quality. Andre Brooks was as good as anybody on the pitch, technically, not just young enthusiasm running around. No, on the ball, he looked like he'd been there for 2 or 3 seasons playing in the Premier League. You had Bogle at right back. It was just, the performances were top draw, and I was gutted for them that they came away with a point. I felt it was 2 points dropped on what the performance deserved.
And that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it suggests a complete turnaround in mentality. At the start of the season, you battle to get a late draw and a point out of a game like that, and you say, well, making your way in the Premier League, it's another point at least. Is that indicative then of the mentality and the change of mentality that Chris Wilder has introduced to this squad?
Yeah, well, the team, I don't think they know when they're beaten now. There's a never say die, there's a courage, and the work rate is just remarkable. They're all putting in their hard yards, but you've got a distinct pattern of play, which up to that point of the new manager, there wasn't. We were playing some nice football, but there were lots of games where you think we don't know where we're going to score from or what they're trying to do. For 45 minutes, we really played well. We were direct. We made space in for midfield by going long. But the manager was able to then change it. At half-time he changed, and we changed our style of play. Asula came off, McBurnie went on. Complete different style of play, because McBurnie is not running in behind. I was saying, oh well, I feel we're going to struggle a bit now because it's going to bring West Ham onto us and it's going to be a battle. The moment I said, and I said it on commentary,
it brought a physicality to that attack.
It did, but I'm fearing that we had no threat in behind. The moment I said that, McBurnie's come short, McAtee's drifted infield, and Diaz made the most incredible run diagonally behind McBurnie, and McAtee slipped him in and he got through on a one-on-one and was unlucky to score. So what I've taken from that is we've not only just got a pattern of play, we've got options, we've got different styles of play, and going forward it's going to make us hard to predict how we're going to come at teams.
On Ben Brereton Diaz, he joined us on the preview show last week and made it very clear that he was looking forward to making his Premier League debut. But like any striker, when you join a new club, you want to get off the mark. He didn't have the best of times at Villarreal. So inside the opening 40 minutes, to get that first Premier League goal in front of your home crowd, how big a moment is that for a striker?
Yeah, well, his all-round play the first 45 minutes I thought was brilliant. He offers a physicality out wide. You know, he's a big, strong lad, but he understands that position. I played that position, and it's tricky because if you're an out-and-out striker and you want to be up there, you sometimes lack your defensive qualities and responsibilities. He was his first thing. He didn't switch off. When the ball went out to their defenders, he dropped into position, he helped his wide man, and he did it well. His link up with Andre Brooks, as I said, was incredible, his work rate. But for the goal, you saw why he scored so many his previous clubs. He was anticipating. He's on the move. He's not. Oh,
had
I'm
desire
out.
To get there as well.
He nipped there before the defender. He got his toe there, and then he just knew, because he scored so many. Just need to make a clean strike, and he didn't slash it. It was a tricky, it was a half volley. He made a great connection, and adored by the Blades fans on his home debut.
So undoubtedly a positive for Sheffield United's new boy, one that's been here a few years now. Ollie McBurnie. You referred to the impact he made coming off the bench. Nerves of steel is the phrase that springs to mind for that penalty. I think it was clocked at having to wait 5 minutes from the moment the penalty was given to the moment he actually stepped up to strike the ball. Thought and a few words for him.
Well, again, I said before, he's a striker. He's our number 9. Number 9 comes with a pressure of scoring goals and being the focal point to get the goals and get your team through when they need something. And the last couple of weeks, while he's been battling to get back to full fitness from his injuries, he's seen Cameron Archer come and get the headlines. He's seen Will Asula come, score, get headlines. Even in the first half, Brereton Diaz came. And when he's come on, I've gone, we're going to see a sparkling performance from McBurnie, because he's going to want to prove to everyone that, don't forget about me, I'm the number. You can't do it any more emphatically than 102nd minute scoring the win in front of the Kop.
Yep.
The pressure on him. I was a penalty taker, and I'd never had a penalty in that situation. And everyone I took, I felt massive pressure. The way he dispatched it, it was brilliant connection, and he is a huge player for us, and the manager shows massive confidence in him, because Will had done really well. So for the manager to bring McBurnie on, it was like, well, he had so much faith in him, and how well he repaid him.
Were you nervous when he was waiting to step up and take it?
Well, at first I wasn't sure who was going to,
Yeah.
Then when he took it, I felt better, because I just, he has got something about him, hasn't he? He deals with things and situations so well, and I was just delighted. I was laughing watching the manager looking away, if I'm honest, because I thought it was quite funny that, just the pressure that's on football, and just.
So you were relaxed enough to laugh? Are we taking
well,
that?
come on, you know what I mean.
Relaxed enough to laugh. No nerves from Carlos Sainz. What we're taking from that. What about the man himself that stepped up to take that penalty then? Let's hear from Ollie McBurnie now. Ollie, let's start with that moment, that penalty on Sunday. It was clocked at 5 minutes between the penalty being given and you finally striking the ball into the net. Talk us through it.
Yeah, exciting. I think, I don't know, it's weird I was speaking about it with the boys afterwards, because I feel like, because you have so much time, I know it seems weird, but it might even be better, because like you have time to relax yourself, compose yourself, think about everything, and just control the outcome. It's funny because I was wearing my Whoop while it was happening, right? So I checked my heart rate, and I think my heart rate peaked in the game at like 191 or something like that. But by the time I came to take the penalty, it was down to like 130.
Ice cold.
Yeah, something like that. Must be that. Or
was it a strategy? Because obviously James McAtee held the ball for a couple of minutes and he was smiling and waving at somebody in the Kop end. Was that a team strategy for him to hold the ball before giving it to you?
Yeah, well, it's nothing we'd spoke about, but I think it's just kind of one of the things that makes sense. I think they'd seen me go take the ball straight away, because obviously I was going to take the penalty, but then once we seen the keeper down and the VAR checks and they know how long it can be, I think one of the boys come over and said, "Do you want me just to hold it while?" And I was like, "Yeah, good shout." So, but I don't think Macca did a very good job of pretending he was going to take it by waving in the crowd. And
He did look relaxed.
I don't think he fooled anyone with that one.
Carl's already told us before you joined us that he had no doubts whatsoever. He was 100% confident that you're going to score. So Carl, Why were you so confident?
Well, the thing that I didn't click with me is Fabianski was at Swansea with you, so that was an added pressure. So do you change mind where you were going to place it?
Yeah, that actually did get in my head a little bit. You know, I knew which way I was going to go when the old keeper was in, and then when I seen Fabs walking on, I thought, I might have to reevaluate here. So I changed mine and did the little reverse. But yeah, it's all good fun, like I say. But you know, I thought, in terms of the game, I thought the boys deserved something from the game. You know, a point at the minimum. I thought, performance-wise, it was right up there, and you know, the whole game. I didn't think the boys. I thought the boys were comfortable. You know, most of the game. I didn't think they gave up much, and I thought, you know, when we had the ball, we looked threatening as well. So to find ourselves 2-1 down that late on was I think a bit unjust. So.
But do you not think, like, now we seem to have different ways, different approaches? First half, you've got Asula running the channels. Second half, you've come on. You're battling against the two lads at the back. You're holding up. You did some incredible chest on one bit. But then you've got the wide players running in behind you. So you guys must be working really hard on pattern and different formations, you know, during training. Has it been a lot intense?
Yeah, 100%, mate. You know, I think that there's so many different options now for the gaffer, and that all bring different dynamics to the way that we attack. So, you know, I think Brio was excellent the other day. Me and Maka were speaking about after the game. You know, with his movement, he's always wanting to go in behind, which, because he's made our mind up for us. So it's a lot easier for someone, you know what it's like when you're playing with someone, you know that every time they just want to get in behind, it makes your job so much easier. Whether it be me dropping in and playing the ball, or setting someone, you know, he's already gone, and then you're just getting in the box. So, you know, the more we play together, you know, obviously me and Maka know each other very well and really enjoy playing with each other. And the more us players can all get together playing together, you know, the more effective we're going to be as an attack.
How's it been? Because the last couple of weeks you've been getting back from injury and getting up to full speed. We've seen Cameron Archer's been scoring. We've seen Will Asula getting the headlines and scoring. Then Ben came on and scored. I said we're going to see something massive from McBurnie when he comes on, because he's the number 9. He wants to show everyone, I'm the one you depend on. Was it like, definitely you were going to take that penalty?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's always going to be me there. I think, you know, all the boys knew that as well. Like, everyone kind of just comes up to me and just knows it's. You know, in the dressing room afterwards, everyone said they was confident I was going to score, and I was always confident I was going to score. And you know, I feel like the older I've got, the more mature I've got, being, you know, one of the players that other players can look to in them situations, and you know, kind of count on. You know, it makes me feel good, and it's I want to be one of them sorts of players. You know, so like you say, going away. You know, I've had little niggles and stuff. I was obviously in Qatar last week with the specialist, with Ender King out there, and you know, he's done wonders with me, and I feel like a different person, to be fair. So you know, while I was over there, I just couldn't wait to get back into it. And yeah,
I'll just ask both of you this, because obviously you were a striker in your time. You're up front now for Sheffield United. As a professional footballer, are those the moments you live for, when to the rest of us mere mortals, the pressure's the greatest and all eyes in the stadium are on you?
For me, yeah, I think so. You know, I love them, the kind of the pressure situations. I think, again, as I've got older and more mature, you do learn to live for them situations. I don't know about Carl. I think my brother was at the game.
Yeah, Carl, how about you?
Well, I found it interesting when Ollie's saying that he was happier the longer it took for when I had the penalty, I wanted to place it and just hit it as soon as possible because my legs were shaking up. No, but how are you finding? I think the complement of strikers now, the competition, it must be so exciting that you know you have to perform to your skill set, because the manager's got so many different options now. It must be really good.
Of course, mate. Yeah, you know that it always brings out the best in you. You know when you have people breathing down your neck and fighting for them places. You know when you're playing every week, it's good and you get the confidence of that, but you never kind of have someone pushing you from behind. So it's definitely good. The boys all fighting for positions. You know how many good options we've got up there now. So like you say, you got to be, you know, at your best in training, whether it be in training or in games, to show that shirt shows.
And morale, the last couple of matches, the last couple of months, everything's going the right way. Morale, I think, must be really high. It would have been devastating if we didn't even get a point. We deserved 3 the way we played. Morale, you must be itching to get back on the pitch.
100%, mate. The gaffer's really good at that, you know, with the boys that have never worked with him before. You know, they've come up to me a few times, said like, even little Maka came up to me and said like, I think he did a little talk after the training session on the Friday one time, and Maka's like, I want to go play now, like after the gaffers, you know, got everyone going. But you know, he's really good at the motivating and getting the best out of each individual, and you know, you can see that with the performances.
And for you personally as well, Ollie, I mean, Chris was the manager that brought you to this club, so to have him come back now when you're in the Premier League, there's always been that sense of unfinished business, that the circumstance that brought about Sheffield United's relegation from the Premier League several years back. How much does it mean to you that it is Chris Wilder back now?
Yeah, no, I think the world of the gaffer. You know, he knows my feelings. You know, obviously, like you say, he brought me to the club. He's done a lot of things for me. And you know, even when he wasn't at the club, you know, he would still keep in contact with me. You know, if I ever needed anything, he'd always be at the end of the phone call. And like I say, he's such a good man manager in terms of getting that out of the boys. You know, whether it be training, whether it be, you know, games, the motivating side of it. But you know, for me, it's just exciting to be working with him and all the staff again. You know, he really does get a lot out of me. You know, whether it be putting an arm around me when I need an arm around me, or giving me a little bit of a rollicking when I need a rollicking. But
that doesn't happen too often.
Not too often. Not anymore. Not a lot less more recently.
You know where you stand. You know where you, and you can't ask for any more than that.
You know, it's like you have a manager that's honest with you, and you can't really ask for much more. You know, they're always going to have tough decisions when it comes to, you know, they've got 25 players, you can only pick 11, so it's going to be tough. But you know, if you have a manager that's honest and open with you, and you know, keeps everyone on a level platform, then you can't ask for much more, and he's as honest as they come.
And you mentioned Macca's reaction to a team talk Chris gave a few weeks back. Chris also threw Andre Brooks into the firing line in that first game against Liverpool, and we've seen him grow over the last month. What have you made of the way Brooks has played?
Yeah, Brooks he's an enigma because he's so quiet, like off the field.
He doesn't say a lot, does he?
He's a mute. I'm pretty sure he's a mute. But the way he plays is completely different to the way he is as a person. You know, he's so free, and so, you know, football is when it is the same. I always bring it back to Macca. Them players, football just looks easy to them. You know, it never looks like that. They have to try hard. Everything's effortless with the way that they play. And you know, Brooks has got so much ability, and I almost want him to have that more, like, come out of his shell a little bit more off the pitch.
Maybe that's where you come in.
Well, yeah, I think maybe I keep him in his shell a bit more.
I don't think you're ready to mentor too many now.
I know,
but did you speak to Macca about the body swerve where he sent Ward-Prowse out?
Yeah,
stands?
You know what
That
he's like.
was shocking.
He's got so much about. You know what I think about that kid. But when it comes to Brooks, you know, I kind of speak to him. I remember the first game he played, and I spoke to him a little bit in the week and just said, like, you're there for a reason. Like, you're not, you know, no one's giving you this. You've earned it, and the gaffer knows how much ability you've got. So just go out and show it. You know, I think the first couple of games there was opportunities where I've seen him in the 23s and he would have cut inside and shot, you know, and scored. And because he's in the first team, he's playing a safe pass, which is, of course, is understandable. But I said to him, you take the handbrake off. You don't need to do that. You know, you're here for a reason. We want that quality. Like, and the games where I haven't been playing, if I've been injured or whatever, I've said, go and show me something. Go and make this game exciting for me. I want to see something exciting from you. So, you know, just little things that when I was coming up as a kid and playing in my first games like that, having like the older boys saying, just go out and be free and don't feel the pressure, you know, help me. So try and help the younger boys.
Well, Ollie, it's a pleasure having you on the preview show. We want to see plenty of excitement from you as well on the pitch starting this weekend. Ollie McBurnie joining us on the SUTV preview show, talking about Andre Brooks as well. It's what he's done, talking with his feet on the pitch, that has got the rest of us off it talking. What about the man himself? He's just recently signed a new contract extension. Let's hear from him now.
Andre, first of all, just to get your immediate reaction, new contract has been signed this afternoon. How pleased are you with the deal?
Oh, absolutely. It's good, always good to get over the line quick. So, yeah.
It's been quite a rise, hasn't it? I mean, you've been in and around the first team for a while now, but just since Chris Wilder's come back through the door, I think you started the last 7 games. How big a boost has he been for you?
Yeah, it's always good when the new gaffer comes in and shows confidence in me straight away. And obviously, I've done well, so.
And what does it say about your belief as a player that you came straight into the Premier League, a game against Liverpool at Bramall Lane in front of a full house, and adapted straight away to the conditions?
I think, like, if you know me, nothing like that really fazing me, so I just get on with what I need to do and just put in a good performance and do what's best for the team.
Even in these 7 first team games, have you seen your game develop significantly in the short space of time?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a lot different to obviously playing like 21's football. Like the tempo of the game is much higher.
And which players and staff members in particular, we've talked about the manager of course, but that have really had an influence on you and helped you adapt to first team life?
I think mostly everyone to be honest, but one that stands out is probably Jack, because I've obviously been through him with the academy, so he's just been had my back all the way through.
Having someone like him who's obviously had a foot in the academy and is now with the first team, that must be a massive help transitioning for not just you but other players that have come out the system.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Tell us about your background. So you're a Sheffield lad. You've been here since the age of 8. Yeah. So that's quite a few years now. How much has the place changed in the last few years?
To be fair, it's not changed a lot, but yeah.
And it's a proud day today because, like I said, you're a Sheffield lad, Sheffield United fan, and you've got members of your family here as well who've come down to see you sign this deal.
Yeah, it's always great to have your family by your side when you sign a new contract for the club you played for 12 years. So yeah.
And I'm guessing you're a close-knit family. Do they come to watch the games as well? And
yeah,
really proud of the progress.
Yeah, they've been to every game I've played in this season. Every game.
And the aim's now going forward. You've got a foot in the door in terms of getting into the side, but the new deal obviously is follow. But this is just the start, isn't it?
Yeah,
going in the next one.
Just the start. There's more to come from me.
And for the team for the rest of the season, we're just on a little break at the moment, but to get back to it a week tomorrow against West Ham.
Yeah, hopefully we can kick on from here and just do everything we can.
So good to hear from Andre Brooks there, Carl. Only 20 years old, 9 Premier League appearances to his name, but it seems under Chris Wilder he's increasingly making a role for himself where he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, I think he's been outstanding. The work rate, the discipline in his role, but the flair. You know, he's playing with unbridled. He's showing us what he can do. If he loses the ball, which is very rare, he chases back. He's been outstanding. Early days in his career, but wow, just what a prospect.
Yeah, and rewarded for those performances, as you heard there, with a contract extension several weeks ago. Now, looking ahead to Brighton, the Cup then this weekend, how would you rate Sheffield United's chances going into this one? Because these are now 2 different teams to ones that met at the Amex earlier this year.
Yeah, the performance away at the Amex, I know we got the result. I didn't make many friends around the club when I said, look, it was a great 3 points, but I was unconvinced in the manner that we got it. The first half, we hung in the match, you know, and then they got a deserved red card and it completely changed. But that, as you say, we're a completely different team now. Brighton are a wonderful team. They're a brilliant blueprint of what clubs need to try and emulate. I think every club's trying to emulate their scouting network. And even if you don't know the names, they've got a policy where they try and identify similar players with similar attributes for a position. So if someone's unavailable, they're putting in someone who plays the same way, same attributes. So, you know, it's a plug and play formation. They're very hard to beat. They're very attacking, and they've got one of the best managers in the league.
Yeah, I think people tend to focus on the threat they have going forward because they've played with such flair over the last 12 months, and certainly under Roberto De Zerbi, have gone from strength to strength. But 2 of their last 3 games in all competitions have been goalless draws, which suggests as well that even if they're not putting the ball in the net themselves, that they're a difficult team to break down.
Yeah, well, they're well disciplined, and as I say, it's not like they keep changing formation and they keep changing this and what they're trying to do. They have a style that they want to play. They work hard on the training field, and the players who come in know what's expected. But Sheffield United will not be going into this game thinking, you know, they're on a bad run, they're there to be taken. They'll be giving Brighton all the respect that they deserve, and they'll be concentrating on themselves. The boys have shown under the manager they've got their own identity now. They're hard to beat. They're looking to attack. I think it's going to be a really open, interesting game, and you know the manager. It's a chance to rotate. People use, but I'm not sure that it's something that Chris Wilder will want to do. He tries to win everything. He plays strongest team. He did at Gillingham. Because he wanted to get through, and it was a show of character. And again, he's trying to build a challenge to stay in the division, and he'll be looking at this as another chance to work out what his strongest 11 is.
You talk about having more confidence as well. Just look at the last 3 or 4 games for the Blades. 8 goals scored in the last 4 games in all competitions. I know some would argue, well, 4 of those came against Gillingham, but that's the sort of prolific form in front of goal that we haven't seen this season, and I wonder how much more confidence it gives everybody when they take to the pitch.
Yeah, for definite, and it's the competition. for me, the striking, the permutations of strikers at this club, you need to be creating chances or taking chances to have a chance to actually stay in the team. The competition for places is really hot. You had Asula, he scored 2, he came off after 45 minutes. You know, so no one's place is for granted. The manager wants goals. He wants to be able to know that if we concede a goal, we're going to score 2. And the boys are going about it. We are a different proposition. We're very much more disciplined, more rigid and structured. But the boys going forward, it's not like they're playing restrained and scared. They're showing flamboyancy. You've got McAtee, who again was brilliant and sat on Sunday. And you've got all these permutations of who can play up top now.
Well, and to that end, I'm going to give you the opportunity for 2 minutes only to be the Sheffield United manager. Given the options that Chris has at his disposal, who do you think on form right now are the best front two?
Oh, I couldn't do it. I just know the manager will be assessing the players during the week. It's not just Saturday to Saturday, it's how they perform in the week. We don't know what illnesses, what knocks, but you do know that the strongest pairing or triplets up top will be used. And I'm excited for it. You know,
it's a very political answer.
No, but
it's very good,
to be
Chris.
political because I just know that there's not a permutation where you're going to say, oh, I'm disappointed. We've got such good attackers.
Let me rephrase that question then. When you look at Brighton and what they offer defensively, do you think that they're most vulnerable to pace or physicality?
I think there's a good combination of both. And I think that, but I'm being honest now in that we have so many different makeups in strikers. You know, you've got the target man, you've got the sly man who's quick and getting behind. You've got so many different ways to break a team down. And on Saturday, the manager showed we were doing really well being direct and going in the channels. But we're able to change that and go a completely different style with the 2 wide men providing the runs in behind. So that's what's given me so much excitement and optimism, is that we can mix and match. We can see if it's not going well, or the manager thinks he can get more after 45 minutes, he'll change it. And we've got the options now, and everyone's fit, and everyone's chomping to start and to score, and that's what I think's
that's key as well, isn't it?
Completely.
And if you go all the way back to August when we started this season, Paul Heckingbottom, who was the manager then, just frankly didn't have these options game one, did he?
Yeah, and it's been another thing, a breath of fresh air, the lack of injuries, the soft tissue injuries. All last season, our only real threat to promotion was injuries in-house, because there were times where you were fielding basically the fittest players. The manager's now able to pick the players who are in best form and deserving of the position, and I don't think he could ask for more. He'd be delighted with things.
Absolutely. Carl, as always, thanks for your time. That's it for this week's preview show. Don't forget the SUTV preview show will be back on Sunday as well, as we look ahead to the Premier League game next Tuesday against Crystal Palace. Join myself and Carl as well pitch side following the FA Cup tie against Brighton, where we'll be breaking down that game and reacting to all the talking points. And don't forget, there's more from the SUTV show via the SUTV podcast show. You can download that from Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. But as I say, come Saturday, Carl and I'll be back there pitch side at the game to give you instant reaction as the Blades take on Brighton in the FA Cup.